It's another lovely day. It really is. Superb, it really is superb. Right, anyway, I think I should maybe just tell you that... No, I'm not going to tell you then. Right, cheers now. Nectar. Do you know, I was watching Wheeler Dealers and they had a Sunbeam, a Chrysler Sunbeam car they were doing up, and it immediately took me back to when I lived in the WISP in Edinburgh. What I'm about to tell you is, I promise you, gospel. And if anyone's heard me tell this story before, well, you're just going to have to listen to it again or switch off. I lived at number 3 Cloverfoot Cottages at WISP, and apart from all the family or whatever that lived there, it's not about them, it's about my next door neighbour. Now for the life of me I should remember this, but I can't remember his name. I honestly hope he's still alive, but the way he lived, it wouldn't surprise me if he's not with us anymore. But anyway, I hope he is. Right, this man was, let me say, to say he was short-sighted would be doing his condition an injustice. This man was so bad, he would actually read a newspaper with the newspaper, check this, there. That's how you'd read the newspaper. I'm not saying he read it quickly, if he could take all the words in, but I was and by the way, with my glasses on. It's unbelievable. Anyway, one of the days he called me through. You're wondering about the Sunbeam Chrysler, I'll come to that. But one day he called me through and he said, I've got this home brewed, distilled, made wine, beer, whatever. And he says, you know, it's too much of it. We're going to have to, you know, help me drink some of it. And I thought to myself, can I help him out this way? Or should I help him out this way? I better. So I agreed, reluctantly. And honestly, it took us several days. And I mean, I don't get hangovers. But I was in danger of passing out. It was unbelievable. It was one of the most psychological, transcendental, hallucinatory experiences. Deep planes. I'll come back. It really was a time I'll never forget, put it that way. Anyway, eventually we did manage to finish it off, and you know, I felt endeared to him. He was such a nice bloke, albeit his short-sightedness. Anyway, one day he said to me, look, I'm going to have to sell my car, the Sunbeam, the Chrysler Sunbeam. And, you know, a bit like somebody else I know, if he's selling it, well, he must be desperate. I'm not proud of this. Are you listening, Gaza? Because it's exactly him up the back. I beat him down on price, and even what he was selling it for was ridiculous anyway. But I put ridiculous to a new extreme. And because he was desperate, he agreed to sell me it. Now, the reason he was desperate was because a few weeks previously he'd told me that he'd met this girl. Well, no, he hadn't met the girl. It's not strictly accurate. What he'd done was he'd met this girl through a dating agency. And he says, I've asked her out, and she's agreed. Now, I thought this was maybe his first foray into this type of thing, but it turns out no, he's done it many times before. He's had some disappointments, but he never put him off. So anyway, he went out with this girl. I saw him. He'd arranged a taxi because he can't obviously drive, and I seen him disappearing into it, and I wished him well. I didn't wave him off, but I wished him well up here. And hurry up, planes is every 2 or 3 minutes here. So off he goes. And I thought, right, I'll hear all about it the next day. And I wasn't disappointed. The next day comes, and he says, I says, how do you get on? Oh, he says, really good, I like her. I'm thinking about asking her out again. I said, what? Have you got her phone number? Yes, I've got her phone number. Oh, that's the time. It must have went well for her to give me the phone number. She says, oh yeah, it did go well. And I says, well, you said you're going to ask her, you're going to give her a phone? He says, that's the problem. I says, well, what was the problem? She's married. Alright, well, you could phone her, and if he answers, hang up. I could do that, but I just feel that he is going to answer. That's what to do then, isn't it? I said, no, he says, I feel bad about it. I says, what you feel bad about it? What? And this is what made me laugh. No, it shouldn't make me laugh, but it did. He says, well, he's 97% disabled. Pardon? 97% disabled. And I thought to myself, now, if he answers the phone, first of all, is he going to be able to hear it? Is he going to speak it? Is he, 97, how is he even capable of picking up the phone, never mind answering it? But apparently he was concerned that he could do all these wonderful things, although he's 97%, not 96. 96. God help it if he was 98%. However, I think really, and he wasn't known to telling porkies, but I think maybe on this occasion he'd been let down again, because he did tell me once he took this girl out for a meal, and during the conversation that flowed, according to him, she excused herself to go to the toilet and never came back. I'm just laughing at the embarrassment of that. Not that it's ever happened to me, obviously. Anyway, I remember that he was telling me that, this is me back to now the Chrysler. Here we go, says, hold on a second. When he was selling the Chrysler to me, he was explaining the reason. I mean, really, he couldn't make this up. And I said, well, what's the reason that you're selling the car? After I beat him down, as I said. And he says, well, I'm thinking of going into the furniture removal business. I went, but you what? You get into furniture removal? Oh yeah. And he says it's ideal because, there's loads of places in Edinburgh which they're difficult to park. He says, but I've got a disabled badge, so I can park, places other people can't, other furniture removal companies can't. So I feel I've got an edge here. Right, hold on. How can you drive? Oh, no. Sorry, did I give you the impression that I was going to drive? No, he says. I've already got a driver. It'll just be me in the passenger seat, and obviously I'll do my best to help him take the furniture out and whatever, And that's it's what kind of conference is that going to give a would-be customer that here's my valuable antiques that I really do feel a lot, I need to be sure that you're going to look after them responsibly, and then they glimpse the disabled badge on the windscreen or in the windscreen. I just find it. Would you trust this man? And when he comes up to give you an estimate, I'll be going, now let me say that where are you? I heard the voice say enough said it. Honestly, how can you not enjoy life when you get somebody like that? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. There are more things that I could say about that, but we'll leave it for another time, when I can leave you wrapped again. Thank you.